Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Call Holo Yumla, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Wadash. Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Rachak Wadash, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Wadash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles to Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and elders in Akim and Akwathium of the hopeful elect. But Shalom. Want to go into a quick video here entitled Iran sends Trump and the West a message. More end times vibes, end times escalating even further. Tehran, Iran, they have placed a mural in Tehran, which is the New York of Tehran is the New York of Iran. Just like New York is the biggest city actually in the entire world, right? But New York is the biggest city of Babylon, America, and Tehran is the New York of Iran, the Arabs, and they placed a massive mural of Trump in a coffin, signifying what? That they want to take out, take out Trump in that depiction. And it's also a representation of, what they want to do to America, because during their supreme leader, the Khamenei guy that Trump killed, that they murdered earlier in the year, right? Of Iran, the Ayatollah guy, right? They during the funeral recently, they were chanting death to Israel and death, that's the little hats over there, death to the Israelis and death to America, so that's just, they're continuing on and further escalating and showcasing their true feelings about, that they're not, this time they're not going to lie down, right? Because the weak are now saying that they're strong. That's biblical prophecy, right before our eyes. So let's go ahead and go first to 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 22. And it's all end time prophecies coming to pass. The Most High is awakening the ancient Medes and Persians in the modern day, and they are today, the Medes and Persians today is Russia occupying the landmass of the ancient Medes, and the Iranians, that's their name now. They're the modern day, they're the Persians that took down, they took down ancient Babylon, and Babylon today, the Babylon the Great, America, double rebellion, Mirathaim, is America. So verse 22, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. And we know who this is talking about. This is who sheds blood throughout the earth, the so-called white man, right? That's that red horse. Power to take, that's spoken of in Revelations, the power to take away peace from the earth, right? To kill, and then that's Edom means red. The Edomites, so-called white race. They by his sword he's living, right? So he sheds innocent blood, chiefly the Israelites, the so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. That's the chief innocent blood upon the earth that he sheds. Drop down to verse 24. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, said the Lord Yahweh. So we know the so-called white race don't do that. They say the laws, they teach that the laws are done away with, right? And teach our foolish, wicked, evil, false teachers and false preachers and false pastors to spread that heresy and blasphemy, right? And those seminary schools that they learn no true proper doctrine from the Heavenly Father, but from Esau the serpent. Ye are of your father the devil, right? John 8:44. Let's see, verse 26. For the Lord Yahweh knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. See, there's going to be two deliverances when Yahweh returns. Right hand side deliverance and left hand side deliverance. You know, the Most High said they can neither can they pluck out of any man can pluck out of the Most High's hand. You know, and that's on the right hand side and left side. You know, there is going to be the deliverance of the righteous, the elect 1/3 Israelites into salvation. When Yahweh returns, you know, Yahweh's right hand at the time Yahweh appoints, right, and then the grapes of wrath, you know, they're going to be trodden down in that wine press, delivered into judgment, into death, right, and destruction. The son of perdition, Esau, Edom, so-called white man. You know, it's all coming to fruition. Drop down to verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision. That's a horrible prophecy. That's what vision mean, prophecy, right? Because in the old ancient times, the ancient prophets were called seers, you know, see with your vision, right? The spiritual vision. Behold, in horrible prophecy, a vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. And so, you know, the Most High is rolling up the kings of the east, beginning with Russia and the Persians, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Persians, aka Iranians. You know, and that represents all the Arabs. You know, because they're all coming back because they kind of split up and divided up. You know, the Houthi rebels that they was fight that the small hats was fighting and giving them problems, right? And then I forget the other names of the other Arab factions. The Arab factions that the Israelis and America was dealing with, you know, when during the time of October 7th or whatever, a couple years ago, right? You know, when they was supposedly had attacked the Little Hats, you know, so, and it's expanding more and more now. It's, you know, it's erupted with America and the Israelis fighting, you know, Iran now directly, which is the big brother to all the other splintered, you know, broken off Arab groups. So they're all going to come back together. They're all coming back together and getting riled up, you know, by the Heavenly Father. So let's see, verse 28 and now 29. Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and that's going into the Iranians, you know, and all the Arabs. They're coming back together, forming up together against the West. Shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Verse 30. Because, you know, the ancient Medo-Persian Empire, it was the largest army and largest, you know, empire in the history of the planet at that time, you know, because they covered a lot of landmass. So let me turn it down a little bit. All right. So now we'll go to let's see where we at. Okay, verse 30. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. So the Carmanians, they're raging in wrath, and that's the Arabs. It's an ancient name for the Arabs over there. They're raging in wrath right now because why? They chanting death to America and death to Israel, the Israelis, and then now they go on a step further and painting a depiction of Trump in a coffin, and we know Trump is, so that represents America in a coffin as well. You know, it's twofold. So also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So we know the ancient Babylonian Empire was also it's also referenced as the Babylonian Assyrian Empire. You know, because the Babylonians took down Nineveh, the capital city of the Assyrian rule, and absorbed them into their nation, into their rulership during the Babylonian Empire of Nebuchadnezzar. It's lucky. And so the modern Assyria, you know, and the Assyrians, we know that that's those of them that had took the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes, in captivity, and when they got kicked out of the northern kingdom of Israel in the ancient times. So now the Babylon the Great is representation of the Assyrians as well, because that's what that's going into, Babylon the Great. That's the modern Babylonian Assyrian Empire, and so going to waste a portion of it's going to ultimately Babylon the Great America as well, right? So let me see. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, because they're going to remember their nature as well, because they, used to go to war and fight a lot back in the day, but they've been, kind of dormant right now, docile for a season, because the Most High had them chilling out, because, it wasn't that time, because they were enjoying it, because the prophecy of Ishmael, because the Arabs are the children of Ishmael, and Ishmael's blessing was, this 12 princes, that oil, that they've had their heaven for a season, they make all that money off the oil over there, right? Different Arabs over there, the Saudis chiefly, right, with America, because the oil backs the U.S. dollar. That's why the U.S. dollar is strong, because of that oil. And the Saudi Arabians, they took away the oil from backing it, and so now that dollar's about to collapse, at any moment. And so let's see. Remembering their nature, because they used to be at war. They have been a great warrior nation at one point too. As the Medo Persian Empire, aka the Achaemenid Empire. Let's see, because that's who that was when they call Cyrus in the scriptures, the Persian, the greatest Persian king. Iran, aka Arab, aka Iranian king, was Cyrus, who the Most High put the spirit on to release the Jews from the captivity when the Persians absorbed the southern kingdom after taking down the Babylonians, and let them go back to rebuild the temple and the streets, right, and the walls and everything of the southern kingdom. So the Iranians, their ancient history, they are the Persians, and they were a great, nation of war as well. Now that's how they remember themselves, because you see that they're fighting and giving the little hats all that they can, they're kicking their behinds really, and then also America, because they Iranians are destroying all of their bases, have destroyed all of America's military bases that surrounds that eastern region over there surrounding Iran, and they're uninhabitable now. They can't repair it, because if they try to repair it, Iranians are going to just attack them and keep it destroyed. So and then verse 31, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. They have the upper hand right now, because they're destroying those military bases of America, and the small hats, tearing them up as well. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. So that's the point on that. But just real quick, this the Carmanians to prove that. Give me 1 second. Okay, so you see right here, Carmania is Kerman. So yes, and this is the AI, the Wikipedia. It says yes, exactly. Carmania is the ancient Greek and Latin name for the historical region that corresponds to the modern province of Kerman in southeastern Iran. You see, so that's what that's going into in the scriptures right there. Carmania is referencing the let's see, it's referencing that's an ancient name for the Arabs, Iranians, aka. See, that was a Greek name right there at that time, but it goes back. Now it's morphed from Carmania to Kerman. Because you know how the serpent does. Every so often he changes the dialect and changes the pronunciation of names, you know. So here, right here. So Kerman is in Iran. You see, Iran. That's the where the Arabs. Iran is Persia, the Persians. Yes, Kerman is a major city in southeastern Iran, located about 800 kilometers southeast of Tehran. And we know Tehran is that's the New York City. That's basically Tehran is New York City of Iran. It serves as the capital of Kerman province, which is the largest province in the country. So you see, um, let's see, it's Tehran like Iran's New York. That's what Spirit had me. I typed that in a minute ago before I did the video. Yes, Tehran functions as Iran's New York in terms of being the undisputed economic, cultural, and demographic hub of the country, with a population of about 10 million. You see, that's that Western influence of Babylon the Great, the wine of the fornication of the whore. But now, you know, they've been underneath the spell of the wine of fornication of the whore, and now they're remembering themselves by the Heavenly Father, awakening them out of that, the same way the Most High awakened Russia out of this Babylonian wine of fornication as well, right? Living like, you know, having that Western influence, and Russia broke off from that and going, you know, and going back to that Soviet Union spirit, you know, getting ready to take down America, and now Iran is as well. It serves as a bustling, densely packed melting pot. You see, melting pot. When you melt something together, there is confusion because now you don't know which is, you know, the difference between the parts, because you melt something, you melt it together, you know, and it forms together. So that's why it's great confusion. That influence of America, because we know America loves to promote themselves and praise themselves for being the melting pot of the world, and everyone else is following that same confusing Babylonian, you know, universal, one world universal, union. Densely packed melting pot that dictates the country's trends and pace of life. So you see trends, a trend, that is something that changes, right? Depending upon what space of time you're in, it could be something totally different, a different wave of people behaving. And we know that's of Satan, because Malachi 3 and 6 says what? The Most High changed not. So you see, they living as Satan, because a trend is something that changes, but the Most High changes not. So we know that this is going to ancient Babylonian Nimrod, Tower of Babel way of living, right? Malachi 3 and 6. For I am the Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Consumed in what? Consumed into that melting pot and be confused and bugged out. But we know that 2/3 of Israel, of the Israelites, are bugged out because they are living as Babylonians. They got consumed in that, and they're not going to wake up until they get judged, right? They're going to get judged for their wickedness of being a part of the melting pot of Babylon the Great. And that's what the Most High said this right here. Let's see, Revelation 18 and 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, and that's the Israelites, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So what is that? How do you come up out of her? Mentally and spiritually come out of this place, and don't be a part of the melting pot. The Most High has awakened us out of that great sleep and that great slumber, right? So we were living as Babylonians, and as we was living a riotous lifestyle of the heathen. But we are now have awakened out of that slumber, and we don't live like a heathen anymore, like pagans, so that we won't be judged with them as well, right? So I wanted to just go into that to prove that these Qarmanians are the Arabs, and it's also mentioning Arabia right here at the top, right here, where in verse 29, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. Why? Because the weak are now saying that they're strong. You see, and verse 30 right there, also the Qarmanians raging in wrath. So that lets you, and you see, Carmanians is the ancient name for Kerman today, and Kerman is like the capital, or Tehran is. Let me see. Kerman. Shoot. Let me see. Let me go back right quick. Yeah, Tehran. Okay, got that. Let's see. Yes, see, Kerman. Yes, Kerman is a major city in southeastern Iran, located about 800 kilometers southeast of Tehran. It serves as the capital of Kerman province, which is the largest province in the country. So Kerman is a great. Um, I believe Kerman, that's the ancient trade route of the ancient Royal Road or Silk Road, like a great trade area. It was a ancient trade, the capital, like the main trade route area for ancient Persia. So that spanned it all the way to Nineveh, or the Assyrian Empire over there. Because the Medo-Persian Empire conquered the Assyrian and Babylonian landmass, so they had built that highway from Kerman to Assyria, to Babylon over there in Assyria, over there in the Far East. A highway for trade routes, and to be able to communicate with their fellow leaders that was running the landmass of Syria and Babylon of the old times. So that's what Kerman, Carmania, that's what it was known for, that trade route and everything. I believe it's called the Silk Road, aka, or the Royal Road, the Royal Road. So that's how it comes all together. So let's see. Because Ezekiel chapter 38, the Most High he put hooks into the jaws of Gog and Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, which is the Russians, which is Moscow. The chief prince is the leader of Meshach, which is Moscow today. So the Most High put hooks in their jaws, and that essentially made them remember. Right here in Ezekiel 38 and verse 4. We'll start at verse 3. And say, Thus said the Most High Power Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. That's Vladimir Putin today. Verse 4, And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. And that's that. When the Most High put them hooks in his jaws and took them back to that, what he made Russia remember that, rekindled that Soviet Union war spirit that they lost when they got disbanded, when they lost that Cold War against America, right? And now the Most High bringing them forth to World War III, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, because they have all these new weaponry, and that chief new armor and weaponry is what? The thermonuclear missiles. Even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, you see, Persia, Iran, Carmania, Kerman, Tehran, Ethiopia, Hamites, the Persians, the Arabs, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, you see. Gog and Magog, this is the Medes, the old landmass of the Medes, where Russia is in today. And then the first nation, their chief ally is Persia, because this is the Medo-Persian Empire reborn again. The renaissance of the Medo-Persian Empire, as so-called whites love to reminisce on the Renaissance period. Well, this is the second Renaissance of Russia, the Bear Russia, the Medes, and the Medo-Persian Empire with the Persians, the Iranians, the Arabs, right? With also, the Moabites, the Chinese, so-called Chinese, and North Korea and all them allies over there in the east. So now we get Second Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 53. If thou hast not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of thine hands, and saying over their dead, when thou wast drunken, set forth the beauty of thy countenance. So not that they're triumphing, because we know in the book of Job, I think it's 20:5, the triumphing of the wicked is short, and but for a moment, right? So this is the Most High telling, Esau, if he had not always slain his chosen, and we know that Esau, he has a perpetual hatred and he's gone too far. He's always slain in his chosen. And who was that? So-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, the Israelites. And then he's exalting the stroke of his hands, He's boasting and proud about it. There's this little bastard, goes by the name on TikTok of Mr. Hate. He went viral, and now he made it. Lord willing, the most I permits, I could make a video about that. But he made a TikTok video laughing and mocking and scoffing and just bragging and triumphing, talking about the culture of their evil race. That guy Nolan Wells, right? Xavier, he was murdered. He went on a trip with the so-called black guy, Tribe of Judah. He's a football player in high school. He went on a July 4th trip with his Edomite, so-called white boy friends. And they were on a boat. They went to a little island a little off the coast, a little ways away from Mississippi. And he turned up missing, and they murdered him. He turned up dead. So, and then this little bastard on TikTok made a video laughing and saying that it's our fault, that we can't swim, So they put their hands to us to murder us, and then they always gaslight and do reverse psychology on us to shame us and make it seem like we're at fault. Like how we're at fault, like we die, they throw us in the water to make us make brothers and sisters that can't swim, tell them to swim, boy, swim, and they mocking us and having a good time seeing us, struggling in the water. And then when we drown, they say, "Oh well, he's too stupid. He should have learned how to swim." Blame us for it, as if just to deny, to dismiss and deflect accountability. When that person wouldn't have died unless they put their filthy hands to. They wouldn't have died if they didn't put their filthy hands towards our people and threw them in the water. A filthy culture of filthy history of violence and murder and bloodshed, of innocent bloodshed by these people. And then he's gotten humbled because he lost his job and everything now. But that's a whole nother story. Just thought about that devil when reading this precept right here. Verse 53, it says, "If thou hast not always slain my chosen, and exalting the stroke of thine hands, and saying over their dead, when thou wast drunken, set forth the beauty of thy countenance." Because they love murdering us, and then they love nothing more than doing so. And then they hold themselves not guilty. Ezekiel 11, not Ezekiel, Zechariah 11:5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, "Blessed be the Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not." You see, they murder us, they murder us in the streets. And then you see how this is the same spirit. This is the spirit of Esau. They murder us, and then they come up with a narrative and a lie and a falsehood to discredit, to absolve themselves and give themselves, immunity from any accountability. And saying, well, their own shepherds pity them not. They're sellouts, because they're the ones that put the bottle to them and making them drunk with their, with their tempting, like Satan did, tried to tempt Yahushua, right? To give them it said, just bow your knee, just basically worship him and serve him and bend the knee to him, and he'll give him the earth, right, and the whole rulership of the earth. The so-called white man, and Yahushua rejected him, right? He said, flee. He said, don't forget what he said. Get thee behind me, Satan, or forget exactly what he said, but he rebuked Satan. But then we know that the wicked of the earth, they bowed their soul to Satan to be able to rule the earth right now for a season. And then now they hold themselves not guilty, and they, teach the sellouts of our people, the sellout Israelites, to do the same thing. And then when they kill us and murder us, when we have dumb dogs that don't sound the alarm and let us know that the enemy, that we know who the enemy was before we awaken to the truth. And then, they say they own shepherds, their own leaders, pity them not because they sold them out for some money. But the Most High, is definitely judging these devils. They're all going to receive their proper recompense for their evil and wickedness. Let's see. Now we'll get verse 55. The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom. Therefore shalt thou receive recompense. You see, as I just said, they're going to receive all of the judgments. Every man going to receive his reward, whether it be good or evil, right? And so they've been destroying us, and this is why they are suffering now, because the curses of the Israelites, are now turning upon our enemy. And beginning, one of the key signs is that their women are really turning on them and going after Israelite men. Verse 56, like as thou hast done unto my chosen, the Israelites, right? So-called blacks, Latino, Native American Indians, said the Lord Yahweh, even so shall Yahweh do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief. So you see, as they have destroyed us and continuously killed us and murdered us and shed our innocent blood, they're going to suffer the same in return now. And that's what we're seeing, and this is, Iran, Iran is very bold. And they know that because they understand, their leaders understand about the biblical prophecy that because they've called America for years, Great Satan, and they know that they're Babylon and that they're prophesied to take them down, but they're going to be taken down as well after the Most High used them to take down Babylon. The Most High is going to allow Yahweh Shai and his men, to take out the Russia, Persia, Iran, China, all of their allies in that valley of Jehoshaphat in the battle of Armageddon, going to get wiped out by Yahushua and the chariots, and that's that, it's coming to an end here. It's all unfolding and unveiling. The Most High is unveiling everything and revealing it all to us, so we give Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai all the praise for blessing us to be able to see this. Like Yahushua told his disciples, blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear, right? It was given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but unto them, and that them is the 2/3 wicked Israelites, it wasn't given to them to know, but just unto the 1/3 elect, and especially not the heathen. So with that said, hope this video was edifying. The waters of Hakudash Bashum Yahushua for another video. Till next video, I say, Shalom.